tell me about the Brutalist. Was it brutal?
No, do you ever hear of...
Yeah, Adrian Brody. I know he's in it.
No, do you know what brutalist architecture is? That's why it's called that.
Oh, no, I don't know that.
So it's like, I think the 50s and 60s is when it took hold, which the movie starts post-World War II. It's like exposed concrete, these big blocky structures. There were some examples that I looked up, and I can't remember one. There's one in like New York or some shit like that.
I'd never heard of that. I mean, not that I know a lot about architecture.
You know, to your point, I thought too that it was the Brutalist for not that reason. I didn't understand it had anything to do with architecture.
Listen, you won't even believe this. Well, you might. So here's some examples. So I understand why they... Well, it kind of fits. It's really utilitarian and kind of super bold. But brutalism in French means raw concrete.
Oh, well, that's
yeah.
part of the design, yeah.
You can't see the pictures we're looking at. Try to imagine.
Well, I can edit some photos in.
Yeah, I mean, and you'll get it. It's just
based on a real guy too. It's Laszlo Toth, is the guy. I think at least that. I think it is based off a real guy.
Ta.
Who is from? He made buildings in Budapest. He moves to Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
There's Van Buren's there, who...
You mean like the president, Van Buren?
No. But he's very wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
He's... what's the word? You know...
Philanthropist?
Contracted
okay.
to make a library for on the hiring by the son. And the son kind of fucks up because the dad ends up coming home early before they've finished putting everything back, and he freaks out. Guy Pearce is the head Van Buren.
Mm-hmm.
Nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Great performance.
Mm-hmm.
Brody did very, very well, too, which is to be expected. I mean, he is a Best Actor winner for The Pianist. Anywho, so they get off on the wrong foot, to say the least. But Pierce ends up finding him, and he's very down on his luck at this time. And he says, after kind of getting to know each other a little more, my mother passed, and I want you to build this big...
Mausoleum?
Not mausoleum, this community center in her honor.
Like a boys' club?
So it's going to be a church. Mind you, Laszlo Toth is Jewish, but the only way they can get state funding is if they earmark the majority, like the centerpiece of the building is a Catholic church.
Oh, okay.
There's a gymnasium, there's a theater, and there's some others. There's one other functional piece, a library as well. Did I say that?
I don't know.
I might have.
I wasn't listening.
So it's a huge undertaking, like an architectural, because it has to do 4 in 1. This is one building. It's not like, hey, we're building a strip mall.
Oh, God. Yeah, I got you.
And from there till the very end, it's basically just about the fucking struggle trying to get this building built. All the shit that goes on to do this.
Okay.
There's like budget shit that's fucked up. A train derails and 2 of the workers die on the train. So Van Buren like shuts the shit down right then and there. But then they get the insurance money back. Toth is brought back in. He has a drug problem, like an opioid addiction.
Yeah.
Laszlo Toth. The greater theme of the movie, though, is this. And it all ties into the ending. So are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
He has an exhibit in his old age. He's wheelchair bound. He doesn't talk at all. His niece, who was a mute up until this point of the or not up until this point, but for a long period of time, basically as she was learning English, she like wouldn't speak to others who spoke English.
Okay.
She's the one who gives this speech where you learn. It's at this kind of like lifetime achievement award ceremony for him exhibit. It shows off all the buildings he's done over time, and it's where you finally learn about the building. I mean, I am leaving out some major. There's one major spoiler that I'm not going to mention. It's really good, so you'll still like this. But anywho, in the ending, she's given the speech about the meaning of this building. The ceilings were the exact length of the concentration camp that Laszlo was at in Dachau, and his wife was at.
Oh,
and
he was in a concentration camp.
Yeah, but you don't know. They don't on the face tell you. It's just like he's in America on a train is the first scene.
Okay.
And then, in conversation, they talk about Dachau, I think is how it's pronounced.
Dachau.
And I forget where the wife was, but they were at separate camps. It wasn't Auschwitz, but do you know any off the top of your head?
Sobibor?
Not that one.
Those are the only three I know.
Yeah, I don't know many either. But she's like, there's these underground corridors that show...
Spandau?
Might have been that, but
Okay.
I don't think so because I had it in my head earlier. Anywho, she's like, yeah, there's these underground corridors that are supposed to signify that they are never apart. These two, despite they were separated. She was still in Europe while he was in the U.S. for like the first 5 years of this movie. The movie covers like a 12-year timeline, and then the ending is much afterwards. And she says this quote that on the face of it is supposed to be the tell that this is bullshit. She said, Laszlo always told me it's never about the journey, it's about the destination. Which...
It's the opposite of the actual quote.
Exactly.
Or the well-known quote. Go ahead.
Like you said, the saying is the opposite. What the film is trying to communicate is once you have a product, a movie, a building out there, it's defined by the consumers. You whatever the meaning you find in a movie,
Right.
that's what it is. It doesn't matter all the work that went into it. It's like the finished product is the finished product. The sweat and blood that goes into that has no effect or correlation. That is, and that's what the movie's trying to...
Yeah, it is true. I mean, there is that saying, it's not the destination, it's the journey. But I think that's referring mostly to personal growth. Or maybe, I don't know. But to be honest, like for like a building, nobody cares what you went through. It's not relevant.
And I agree.
I mean, if you want to make a documentary about the building of the Chrysler building, okay, whatever. But it is what it is. I mean, people perceive it in 1,000 different ways. It's...
It was interesting because he got fucked around so much. And it obviously meant a lot to him because of all this shit he went through.
Right.
And he was like at the whim of some just rich fuck.
Right.
But... it's like it meant something to him, but that doesn't mean it's going to mean the same thing to you.
Yeah, it literally means nothing.
And it's just I don't know how to the irrelevancy of that
of this
in this
struggle,
world. Yeah,
really.
it's like it doesn't matter. Like, what did you do?
Yeah, when like creative or something like this, it's creative. Any type of art that is once created, the process.
It's not yours anymore. It's the person looking at it.
It's not yours anymore, and how it was done or put together isn't. I mean, it's somewhat interesting, but it doesn't define the work. The work is what it is. It's the perception of it. Okay, what's the next movie? That was good.
I just want to say though, I've really fucking liked that idea. It's just cool to think about. In my
I mean
opinion.
that's a cool concept. I've never really experienced that in the